Look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world.
This is the Wrestling Matters podcast where we stand up for professional wrestling.
Here we fucking go!
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up!
Yes! 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 Yes!
That's 13-14!
Cena, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line! Cause Stone Cold said so!
What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to this very special review Wrestling Matters podcast. That's right, it's a review show, and I'm going to review both NXT and SummerSlam in this podcast. That's right. I have watched NXT, and holy moly, was it great. That's all I'm saying. It kicked off, it was from Brooklyn. It was the night before SummerSlam, of course. And very good show, top to bottom. A few matches that were one match that was questionable. I'll get to that in a second, but I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah. All in all, great show all around. But hey, it's NXT. You expect that. I'll talk about SummerSlam later on. But NXT kicked off with No Way Jose and Austin Aries. That's right. Now, don't get me wrong. I actually thought this was a great match. Great match from top to bottom. Jose had Austin Aries rocking. Aries taking control, using his experience in the match as well. Classic Aries as well. It was a great match to start off the show. There's no question about that. Great match to start off the show. And Jose almost had Austin Aries at a few points as well in the match. But the last chancery made No Way Jose tap out. Now, I gotta admit, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. I actually thought this was this is Austin Aries, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing that Austin Aries won the match or anything like that. That was a bad thing. No, it wasn't. Hell no. I actually thought that No Way Jose would have got over. You know, Austin Aries was brought in to put No Way Jose over, but Austin won the match. Will we see another match between these two? Probably not. I don't know. But the story of the match was after it, because when Austin won the match, he attacked No Way Jose, put him back in the last chancery, and then Hideo Itami walked out and made a statement at the expense of Austin Aries and attacked him and brought back a move that he made famous before CM Punk got his hands on it, the GTS. That's right, the go to sleep, CM Punk's old finishing move. He was the inventor of that move, guys. Well before WWE, well before CM Punk got his hands on it, he was the inventor of that move. There's no question about it. He invented that move. He made that move famous. That's why CM Punk ended up using it. And he made a statement. So, Austin Aries, Hideo Itami, or Kenta to indie wrestling fans. Sounds pretty good to me. Now, Billie Kay and Ember Moon. Now, I like this match. Nothing really special in this match. Billie took charge of most of the match, but Ember got the victory. Like I say, it was just a Divas match. It was a women's wrestling match. It was a women's division match. There was nothing really that much special about it. There was nothing really moments in the match that caught my eye, apart from one, which was the finish. Because Ember did a move on Billie, which I have never seen before. A very innovative move, or very innovative version, rather, of the stunner. She was on the top rope, in a position like if it was going to do a clothesline, and Billie was stood there. She jumped off, grabbed out of Billie, and stunned her in like a corkscrew move and got the stunner on her. Very innovative, very creative. Never seen that done before. I wonder if Stone Cold was impressed about that. But anyway, Ember got the victory, which was very much predicted as well. Andrade Almas. I hope I said that right. I know I haven't. And if I haven't, I apologize. It took Bobby Roode to the absolute limit. Bobby Roode did well. There's no question about that. He did very well. And Almas did well too. He came back. He outsmarted Roode on occasions, but Roode definitely had the experience advantage. There's no question about that. And Almas did take it to Roode. He rocked him on occasions as well. A couple of times where we thought he was actually going to win the match. But Bobby Roode, the right man prevented, the right man won, and Bobby Roode ended up winning the match with the Glorious Bomb, as he's now known, which is basically a pump handle slam. But he calls it the Glorious Bomb, with his theme move, Glorious. And no, I'm not talking about them footage of Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, which were freaking gold, by the way. I loved it. But right move, Bobby ended up winning the match, and it wouldn't have looked good for Bobby Roode to lose this match rather on his first match in. All the build up, all the hype for him to come to NXT, because we all knew he was coming, and then he comes in and he loses the match. Just didn't work like that. So what's next for Bobby Roode? I don't know, but predict big things for Bobby Roode, and he will be the next NXT champion. I'm predicting that right here, right now. Very good match, all the same, and Andrade Almas did very well and took Roode to the limit. Speaking of the limit, the NXT Tag Team Champions, the Revival, took on Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Very, very amazing tag team match. Amazing tag team match. And very good in respects of tag team wrestling. Brawl kicks off early on. Revival take control and mostly dominate the match. Tommaso and Johnny Gargano did very well, and took them, the Revival that is, to the limit. Superb wrestling, superb tag team wrestling, some great tag team work as well by the champions, as well as Johnny Gargano as well, along with Tommaso Ciampa, but the champions proving why they are the champions and why they are the best team, in my opinion anyway. And yes, in Corey Graves' opinion as well, because he wouldn't shut up about it, in NXT today. And these two have a big future, there's no doubt about it. I see these two as the modern-day brainbusters. They just showed great tag team wrestling. It was an awesome match. We came very close on occasions to being to having new tag team champions. Even at one point, Gargano got the pin, but the foot was on the rope, and the referee saw it and had to cancel and redo the match, or restart the match. And it was just so good. So good to watch. And the Revival ended up winning it by tap out, and at the tap out, Johnny Gargano with a reverse figure four. All in all, superb tag team match for the tag team titles. Now for the women's, which saw Bayley and Asuka part 2. Hard-hitting women's match. This was 10 times better than the Ember Moon match. Hard-hitting kicks, both girls really taking it to each other. Just hard-hitting, full of head of steam, attacked by both women. Offense was phenomenal. 2 hard kicks gets Asuka the win. And like I said, this was more than likely Bayley's farewell to NXT, because it's already been teased. She was at Battleground as Sasha's tag team partner. More than likely she's going to be on the roster at some point soon. But a very good women's match. There was a point where Bayley almost had it, and we almost saw Bayley become the 2-time women's champion of NXT. But Asuka's dominant, man. She is undefeated for a reason. She's the undefeated champion for a reason, and she's absolutely phenomenal. There's no question about it. Absolutely phenomenal. And just definitely the next person to carry that women's division in NXT. I don't think she could be beaten. And it's going to take someone really special to beat her. Believe that. Hard-hitting stuff. Just phenomenal work. It was just great. Great work. Great match. Not the best women's match I've seen, but I'd definitely watch it again. And like I said, both girls at the end showed respect. And Bayley basically had her curtain call. Like I said, this was probably her last match in NXT. And no, more than likely she's going to end up on the roster very soon. It's already been teased, her being the mystery partner for Sasha Banks. So what will happen, we'll just have to wait and see. Speaking of hard-hitting, 2 men that despised each other. Even though Corey Graves claimed to respect one another, but he obviously saw a different opinion or a different matter or a different approach to what I saw. Shinsuke Nakamura challenging Samoa Joe for the NXT Championship, which from a great portion of the match, it was a slow, methodical dissection in Samoa Joe's advantage at the beginning of the match. Classic Samoa Joe offense, hard-hitting stuff, and Joe very dominant, like I say. Very slow, methodical pace in Joe's favour as well. But Nakamura is lethal with kicks and strikes. That's why he's the king of strong style. He is a lethal guy. And if you haven't seen him, this is the first time you've seen him in WWE, go and check out his Japan work. Seriously, go listen to Sunday Segway. They'll tell you. Holy moly. It was a hard-hitting fight. Both guys rocking each other. Joe with a power advantage as well, and using that as well on occasions. One of the highlights of the match was Joe gets a near fall after being dumped on his head. This guy took a German suplex and quite frankly got dumped on his head and got right back up and got a near fall out of it with that power slam move that Randy Orton usually does as well on occasions. Unbelievable. I thought it rocked him. It kind of rocked him when he got up as well about it, but it was just so beautiful to watch. It really was. And Nakamura, after Shinsuke, I can't pronounce that name, but his finishing move, after 3 times hitting his finishing move, he gets the win and becomes the NXT champion. And like I say, guys, I predicted this was going to happen. I didn't have a problem if Joe would have won, but I predicted this was going to happen because Nakamura was built to this point. He was very built, storytelling built to this point, the build up to it. You know, he beat Austin Aries, he beat Sami Zayn, he beat Finn Balor, all the way to this point, to get to this point, because he had to beat them to get to this point, and the hard work paid off because now he's the new NXT champion. And I'm going to be tuning in, like I've been doing all the time. I always follow, look out for NXT. I'll be doing it again this week because Nakamura, it's going to be interesting to see what Nakamura's like in terms of being a champion. It really is. It's going to be very interesting. All in all, guys, 5-star match. Absolutely loved it. From top to bottom, start to finish. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful wrestling. Professional wrestling does live in WWE. It definitely lives in NXT. Considering all the stars that it's made and got up to the main roster, you can't stop NXT. It's as simple as that. You can't stop NXT. Right, then, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the SummerSlam review, ladies and gents. Oh, joy. A very controversial SummerSlam, if you're talking about the ending, of course. But a great SummerSlam nonetheless. Kicked off from the Barclays Centre. It was basically part 2 of the SummerSlam weekend because SummerSlam was at the Barclays Centre on Sunday, NXT was the day before. So kicked off with an Enzo Amore promo, and then the match with Cass and Enzo versus Jericho, as they're now known. Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho. Enzo and Cass had the experience in terms of tag team, but all in all, it was a good match. Very good match to kick off. Very good tag team. Like I say, Enzo and Cass had the experience advantage. And Jericho in total control for most of the match as well. Owens with a deadly frog splash, which somewhat scared me. And probably my favourite moment of the match was Kevin Owens mocking Enzo. It looked so funny and so hilarious. However, ladies and gentlemen, a pop-up code breaker, which was Kevin Owens going up for the pop-up powerbomb, but Enzo jumps right into a code breaker, and Jericho, as they're now known, like I say, get the victory. So, I have to admit, they were impressive, very impressive. Future tag team champions? We shall see. Oh boy. It was bad enough he was here last year. He was back, ladies and gentlemen. He was back. Yes, Jon Stewart. Except this time, he put his foot in it with Stephanie McMahon a little bit backstage. I'm not going to talk about that. Let's move on. Women's title rematch. Now, I have to talk about this in more depth, but Sasha Banks Charlotte was a very good match. A very, very good match. A nasty backbreaker on the turnbuckle, caught Sasha off a little bit by Charlotte, and then that led to Charlotte working the back. Very good strategy by Charlotte, and Charlotte that turned Charlotte to dominate most of the match. A very good razor's edge counter into a head scissors from Sasha as well. And it was a great match, and even got a "This is awesome" chant. And Charlotte came close on occasions to win. And then she countered the bank statement to get the victory. Yeah, it was one of them. Sasha had the bank statement on Charlotte, and then she rolled Charlotte. Charlotte rolled Sasha into like a pitted position. She still had the bank statement on, Sasha that is, and Sasha got counted out. Now, I didn't understand this at first, but there's a rumour flying around that Sasha's been suspended for 30 days. And if you're listening to this on YouTube or SoundCloud, the link's in the description below from ringsidenews.com, I believe. Let me just check. Yeah, ringsidenews.com. The link will be in the description below. So please check that out for more information. There's not enough info yet on why she's being suspended. Many people say it's the wellness policy, considering what's been going on. I highly doubt that. Maybe there's another injury to her, or whatever. But we don't know the full truth to why she dropped the belt tonight. But no doubt this coming week we probably will. A very unique meeting with the club backstage. AJ with Anderson and Gallows backstage. And what was interesting was Finn Balor popped out of nowhere. And the boys, Styles and Gallows and Anderson, had the 2 sweet sound ready for him to touch. Balor left them hanging. Interesting. Very interesting. A lot of rumors that Balor's going to turn heel and maybe join up with the club. We don't know. But I just thought that was a little bit interesting. Anyway, Miz and Apollo Crews for the Intercontinental Championship. Miz with definitely the experience advantage. Apollo with the power advantage and the agility advantage. Holy moly, does he have good agility. And he did show some great stuff in the match. But as predicted, Miz came out on top. It was a very good match between the two. There's no question about that. There's a very good match between the two. Not the greatest of matches, but a very good match. But one mistake by Apollo cost him the match. And Miz hits the skull-crushing finale to get the victory. Now to, in my opinion, the match of the night. Bar none, I don't give a damn what anybody says. Unbelievable match this was. No doubt about it. AJ Styles, John Cena. The match that we all longed for at Money in the Bank. That wasn't until Anderson and Gallows got involved. Advantage Styles earlier on. A suplex on the apron from AJ, which was deadly, and that is the hardest part of the ring, ladies and gentlemen. The commentators are not kidding on that. That is the hardest part of the ring, no question about that. It was a slow pace to the match. Cena with the power advantage. Yes, Cena hit a drop kick, and I think at one point during that, according to the replay anyway, Cena hits the drop kick, and Styles sold it, and then he got up like, what the fuck? Cena hitting the drop kick, hello? Kind of thing. And then close near falls. One move after another. Unique offense by John Cena, for example. He had him in like the fall away Sam position and then turned it into like a cutter move. Like a diamond cutter kind of move, which was very unique. AJ has some power as well. Into a torch rack, into a spinning powerbomb. Or sit-out powerbomb, whatever they call it. Amazing spots in the match. An avalanche AA still couldn't get the job done for Cena. It was just beautiful to watch. One move after another, after another, after another. Great spots. In my opinion, a 5-star match from top to bottom. And Styles beat John Cena clean. AJ got the victory. Styles clash and a forearm beats John Cena cleanly. And I have no complaints about that, man. I really don't. I thought John Cena would have won it, but WWE allowed John Cena to get beat. Yes, I said WWE, because usually that doesn't happen. But 5-star match all around, and you know what? I may very well watch that match again just for the sake of it, because it was just so good. Match of the year candidate, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, I said match of the year and John Cena in the same sentence before you start busting my balls. Anyway, 5-star match all around, and I'll be definitely watching that again at some point. The Club and New Day for the tag team titles, which saw very good showing from Xavier Woods. New Day took it to the Club, and there's no doubt Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. And, it was all spoiled in a way by Jon Stewart getting involved. The club almost doing to Jon Stewart what they did to Big E. And speaking of Big E returned and saved Jon Stewart's life, quite frankly. And yes, the match got thrown out. I'm guessing it was a DQ finish. To who, I don't care. I don't care how it went out. It might have been a no contest. I don't know, but it ended poorly. But New Day are still your tag team champions. Will they lose it? They'll probably lose it next pay-per-view, which is September 25th for Raw at least, anyway. SmackDown is September 11th. But anyway, Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, WWE World Championship. A slow start to the match. Ambrose mocked Dolph, and he did in most of the match, quite frankly. These two took it to one another. Dolph, who is now become, and yes, it is true, ladies and gentlemen, as much as I love me some Dolph Ziggler, he has become an HBK ripoff, as many people call it. I wouldn't necessarily say ripoff, I would probably say wannabe. But Mr. Ziggler, he can use a super kick. He's used it for most of the match. Ziggler rocks Ambrose with it at one point as well. And it was another predictable match because we all knew Ziggler wouldn't win the match. And Dean counters a face button, hit face buster move or face buster attempt, hits Dirty Deeds and retains the WWE World Championship. And it was a great match between the two. Very good match between the two. And from what I've heard anyway, and this is all I've heard, it seems that Dean Ambrose's next competition is AJ Styles. But we'll find out this coming week on SmackDown for that. All in all, great match. I liked the match. Thought it was very good. Not the best or what I'd hoped for, but I liked it. I got no complaints about it. 6 women's tag team match. And Eva Marie, they did that thing with Eva Marie again where she didn't come out. Or she said she was on holiday due to lack of exhaustion from the wrestling fans and yada, yada, yada. But anybody with a brain knows she's suspended for 30 days due to the wellness policy. She basically fucked up, and that cost her a place on SummerSlam. Not that she deserved it anyway, but anyway. But we saw the return of Nikki Bella, ladies and gentlemen. And Naomi, Carmella, and Becky Lynch were up against Alex Bliss, Natalya, and Nikki Bella. And it was just a standard Divas match, women's title match. I still haven't got over that Divas thing yet. I know with the Total Bellas thing coming up, don't get me started on that, we'll be here all day. But it is women's now, ladies and gentlemen. It is the women's division, and it was just a standard 6 women's match, really. Nothing new, nothing wow, and of course they would give Nikki the pinfall victory with a TKO, but it was a good match. I had no complaints about it. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it probably would be, but you know, it was good. Good for them anyway. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, time to crown a new Universal Champion. All the hype, all the prestige behind it, all the hope for and everything, even the SmackDown crew mocking it. And it was just basically the WWE Championship with Universal Champion underneath and in a different color. What a joy, ladies and gentlemen. What a joy. Anyway, great match nonetheless, though. Awesome splash by Rollins to start off, which was a 5-star frog splash. Kind of like RVD's move. And Finn starts fast. It was just an aggressive Rollins as well. And it was a great match between the two. A great match. Great spots in the match. At one point, Rollins went old school and used the small package driver, which almost got him the victory. And then Finn hits his finishing move after about 6 attempts at it, quite frankly. And on the final attempt, he gets it and becomes the new Universal Champion, which was the right thing to do, ladies and gentlemen. The right thing to do. And we all knew it was going to happen anyway because, yes, Rollins has had his moment in the sun, but WWE want to bring out a new face now in the company, and the perfect guy to do it is Finn Balor, despite what Corey Graves says. Or they wouldn't put his face on ESPN. Corey, your name's Corey Graves, not JBL. I'm just saying. Anyway, 5-star match in that one as well. That lived up to the hype of what I would hope for. And it's interesting to see now where this Universal title goes. Or WWE Championship version 2, as I call it. Anywho, Roman Reigns versus Rusev for the United States title never got off the ground. It was just a complete fight. And Roman Reigns ends up spearing the hell out of Rusev. And it was just a carbon copy of what's been going down on Raw. And I knew this wouldn't take place because they had the match on Raw, quite frankly. And the only differences between the Raw match and the SummerSlam match was it wasn't for the US title on Raw. The SummerSlam match was supposed to be for the US title. So basically, they gave away the match on Raw. It just wasn't for the US title. Really? Anyway, Roman spears the hell out of it. And no doubt they'll probably have another match at Clash of the Champions, which is September 25th. But anyway, moving on. And now to the match I was looking forward to seeing. Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, Viperville versus Suplex City. It was a fight. Orton goes through the SmackDown announce table after Lesnar just launches him off the ring apron, the guardrail. The fight was on the outside. RKO on an announce table. And even RKO gets Orton a near fall. But Lesnar did what he did to John Cena at one point when he first came back to WWE and hit him with the elbows. And he just beat the living tar out of Orton to the point where he ends up bleeding in the ring. There's blood all over the floor, blood all over his head. He just continues to pound the living daylights out of him. And thanks to a TKO win, Brock Lesnar gets the victory. So, at some point in 2017, we will see Brock Lesnar challenge for the Universal title. More on that another day. The interesting dynamic was Lesnar kept on beating Orton and beating Orton and beating Orton. Everybody was chanting for Goldberg. The bell kept on ringing. And even at one point, Shane McMahon came out to try and talk to Orton, to check on Orton and everything. Big mistake, Shane. Big mistake. Like I said on the podcast, episode 125, which is out on Monday. Check it out, guys, on the YouTube channel, SoundCloud, and Swerve Talk Network as well. Shout out to Daz on that one. Check it out. Like I said in the title, Brock doesn't give a shit, okay? It's as simple as that. Brock doesn't give a shit. He didn't give a shit about Heath Slater and his kids, and he didn't give a shit about you, Shane. And he F5'd you. That's why. It could have been Daniel Bryan. If it was Daniel Bryan, he'd have probably F5'd him too. All in all, controversial ending to SmackDown, and I'm looking forward to seeing these episodes of Raw and SmackDown this week just to see the fallout of what was a very good SummerSlam, to be honest, and a very good way to end my birthday week. So there you have it, guys. A 5-star weekend for me. I've enjoyed it. I really have enjoyed the wrestling this weekend as well as my birthday. And hope you guys enjoyed the rest of the week as well with the podcast. Episode 125. Check that out as well. Also look out for the WCPW podcast and the CWC. Plus a little bit of a Wrestling Matters podcast extra as well to do with What Culture this week. Check that out. That'll be all up this week on the wrestling channel, youtube.com/Wrestling Matters channel. Actually, that's not the right one. Let me get that again. youtube.com/AJW Wrestling Matters. It is the Wrestling Matters channel. Subscribe for more podcasts and stuff. And I got a few little things coming up on there as well. And I'm going to test them out on the Twitter page. At WM Podcast on Twitter. SoundCloud.com/Wrestling_Matters_podcast. Download them for free. All the podcasts. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Anthony Walker. Enjoy the rest of the week. And I'll see you next time. Peace out.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up!
Yes! 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 Yes!
That's 13-14!
Cena, I am the best in the world.
'Cause that's the bottom line. 'Cause Stone Cold said so.